Today we're taking a look at the Brooklyn Nets vs New York Knicks match, which is happening on Monday, April 5, 2021 at 7 p.m., and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. The Brooklyn Nets return home to the Barclays Center on Monday, looking to bounce back from just their second loss in the last 8 games, when the New York Knicks make the short trip to Brooklyn. The Nets, playing without James Harden on the first leg of a back-to-back Sunday, lost in Chicago, 115-107. The loss snapped a 4-game winning streak and dropped Brooklyn out of first place in the Eastern Conference. Kyrie Irving dished 15 assists against the Bulls and scored 24 points but went 0 of 4 shooting from three-point range. Brooklyn knocked down 11 of 28 from beyond the arc as a team, but at Chicago trumped the Nets' 48.4% field goal shooting with a 55.1% effort. Just when the Knicks had climbed to 2 games over .500 and had a chance to create some distance between themselves and the pack in the Eastern Conference middle, they go and lose 3 straight. Typical Knicks. They bounced back Saturday night with a 125-81 blowout win over the Pistons to hit back to .500 at 25-25. They are currently 7th in the conference, but just a game behind the 4th-place Hornets. The New York Knicks have been in decent form as they've won 5 of their past 9 games, and they will be looking to build some momentum after snapping a 3-game skid with a 125-81 road win over the Pistons on Saturday. Julius Randle led the team with 29 points, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Reggie Bullock added 22 points on 8 of 12 shooting. RJ Barrett scored 14 points while Elfrid Payton chipped in with 11 points and 9 assists. As a team, the Knicks shot 54% from the field and 19 of 39 from the three-point line as they stormed out of the gates with 41 points in the first quarter to take the early double-digit lead, before running away with it in the second half where they poured in another 65 points. In the win over the Pistons, the Knicks shot a blistering 54% and held the Pistons to 35% shooting. They had 19 threes and forced 14 Detroit turnovers. Julius Randle led the Knicks with 29 points with 5 three-pointers. He also had 8 rebounds. Reggie Bullock added 22 points while RJ Barrett had 14 points. Elfrid Payton chipped in with 11 points and 9 assists. The only key injury is Mitchell Robinson, who is out indefinitely. The Brooklyn Nets lost to the Chicago Bulls on Sunday 115-107. They played without their MVP candidate James Harden, who is nursing an injured hamstring. Kyrie Irving couldn't carry the load alone, but he led the Nets with 24 points and 15 assists. Jeff Green added 21 points off the bench. Landry Shamet added 13 points. The Brooklyn Nets look for a win after winning 12 of their last 15 games. The Brooklyn Nets are averaging 119 points on 49.4% shooting and allowing 114.3 points on 46.2% shooting. Kevin Durant is averaging 29 points and 5.3 assists while Kyrie Irving is averaging 27.8 points and 5.1 rebounds. James Harden is the 3rd double-digit scorer and Joe Harris is dishing 1.8 assists. The Brooklyn Nets are shooting 39.2% from beyond the arc and 80% from the free throw line. The Brooklyn Nets are allowing 36.3% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.4 rebounds per game. The Nets have held out James Harden for the past few games due to a tight right hamstring, so keep an eye on his status with him listed as questionable. Tyler Johnson is listed doubtful with a knee injury and Blake Griffin is doubtful due to rest. If Harden is unable to play, the Nets will lean on Kyrie Irving, but they are just 8-9 SU when Harden does not play. Harden surprisingly has just a 4.7 net rating when he's on the floor, but Brooklyn is 26-7 in all of the games he has played. If there wasn't such a negative narrative around his exit from Houston, Harden would likely be garnering even more MVP attention. This is something my colleague, Raheem Palmer, has been detailing in his MVP tracker. Since Kevin Durant last played on February 14, The Nets have held the sixth best point differential, plus 6.3, in the league, per cleaning the glass. They've excelled offensively, but their defense has held them back. Brooklyn gives up 113.4 points per 100 possessions. Opponents take 38.7% of their shots from three-point range, and even though they only make them at about league average, the Nets' interior defense allows 13.2 seconds chance points per 100 possessions, per NBA advanced stats. Teams are able to maximize their opportunities by crashing the boards. There are some rumblings that Durant may return for this game, considering he has played some 4-on-4. Shams Charania indicated that he is closing in on a return to the floor. If Durant is able to go, it will be interesting to see what kind of minutes limit he might have. Regardless, the Nets would love to see him on the court with his 10.2 net rating and ability to stretch the floor while defending both the paint and the perimeter. So here are my betting suggestions for that game. The New York Knicks continue to cover numbers in the underdog role, and they're a competitive team that doesn't get blown out often. The Brooklyn Nets are still banged up, and playing on the end of a back-to-back usually impacts these sort of situations the most, as you're stretching the depth thin. This is also the first meeting between these clubs where the controversial call went against Randall late. There's some motivation for the Knicks here. The Knicks are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 road games, 3-1 ATS in their last 5 games against a team with a winning record, and 5-2 ATS in their last 7 games following a win of more than 10 points. The Nets are 1-5 ATS in their last 6 home games, 5-11 ATS in their last 16 games playing on 0 days rest, and 1-5 ATS in their last 6 games overall. Head-to-head, the under is 9-2 in the last 11 meetings overall. The Knicks are 5-1 ATS in the last 6 meetings overall, and the Knicks are 6-1 ATS in the last 7 meetings in Brooklyn. The Nets are obviously the favorites here, but the Knicks have played them very well this season. In their most recent loss, they covered the spread as an 8.5-point underdog. They are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, so their defense keeps them in a lot of games. The Nets come into this game having played Sunday, so this is the second half of a back-to-back. James Harden has been out with a hamstring injury, and his status is not known for Monday. This game means a lot more to the Knicks than it does the Nets, and given how tough they have played them this year, my betting advice for that match is to pick New York Knicks plus 5.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.